Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing fractions. This is a much simpler sum to be able to do, and we're going to go through both of them very quickly. Okay, so firstly, when we're multiplying fractions, it's a very straightforward step. All we're going to do is, instead of trying to find the lowest common denominator and all those sorts of things, we're just going to multiply across. So the first step, so if you were to attempt the question, what you would want to do is to do two steps here. We're actually going to do 4, so we're going to multiply the two numerators, and then we're going to multiply the two denominators. So we're literally just multiplying across. So if you were to attempt, what you would do is you would write out this step, but you'd also go to the next step. Now, with these ones, especially if they're single digit, you should be able to work those out. So 4 times 6, if it's easier for you, what you can do, just to reduce the amount of errors that you have, you would write your 4 times tables down the bottom here. So go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 4 is 24. And then 3 times 2, so 3, 6 is 6. Now, basically, what I would want to be able to see is that with attempt that you're actually doing this bit here. So we might write that in. So here is my attempt. And as usual, that is worth 1 mark. And by multiplying the numerator and denominator correctly, that is worth 1 mark. Now, to get the full marks, you would be expected to simplify the question. So we're going to do the strategy that we saw when we were adding and subtracting fractions. We're going to write out the factors of the two numbers that appear in the fraction. So we're going to write 24 and 6, and we're going to find a similar factor. So the factors are the two numbers that multiply to give you that number. So 24 and 1, 12 and 2, 4 and 6, what's another we could do, 3 and 8, and so on. We might do 6, so 6 and 1, and then 3 and 2. So what we're looking for is the highest common factor. So if we have a look, the highest number we've got for 6 is 6, and we've also got it in 24. So what we want to do here is we actually want to divide the top and the bottom, so our numerator and denominator, by 6. So divide by 6, divide by 6. So 24 divided by 6 equals 4, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. Now, any number with a fraction that has a denominator of 1 is just a whole number. So we've done a few things here. We have shown the correct process. We've just multiplied the numerators together and the denominators together, and then we've simplified by finding a common factor. The best way is to find the highest common factor as well. So get 1 and then 1. So there is a similar process with dividing with one additional step. So let's look at this example here. So firstly, with dividing fractions, there is one step additional to that, and that's basically to rewrite our question. And this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to write our first fraction down first, so 6 over 4. We're then going to change that into a multiplication symbol, and we are going to flip this one. So we're going to write that as 4 over 2. Now all we do is we do the exact same process as we just did with the multiplication sum, because now it is the multiplication sum. So 6 times 4 and 4 times 2. So with this sum, what I'm looking for is that you're able to write down the first step correctly, but also write this down. So this entire step here is your attempt. This allows me to realize that you actually know what the step is. You might not know your times tables, which is fine, but again, it just shows me that you actually know what the actual process of dividing fractions is, and that's the purpose of doing this sum. So let's go from here. So 6 times 4, which we know from the other sum, is 24. 4 times 2 is 8. Now remember, we're going to do a simplification of this one. So we're going to do 24 and 8. So let's do the same factors as before. We've got 24 and 1. We've got 2 and 12. We've got 3 and 8 and 4 and 6. So let's do 8. So 8 and 1, 2 and 4, and that's it. So now we're going to be looking for our highest common factor. So the biggest number we have here is 8, and we actually have it here as well. So we're going to divide both numbers by 8. So 24 divided by 8 is 3. And 8 divided by 8 is 1. And again, just like the other question, any number that is divided by 1 is just the whole number. So here, this you would get 1 mark for the attempt. You would get 1 mark for working it out correctly, and then you would get the 1 mark for simplifying. And if you realize that 3 divided by 1 is a whole number, you would get an additional mark there as well. Hope this helped in learning how to multiply and divide fractions.